Okay, so this is how you will download and install the sample program for computer graphics for games. You're going to get a zip file and use the archive utility to unzip it. And it's going to create something like g4g underscore basic dash master2 or something like that. And in that, it's going to be basically the same thing as Windows versus Mac. It's going to be the same. That's the cool part now. So in the build directory, and now this is set up so that you do not, it should work even if you don't have glfw installed, because there inside lib there is a already for you set aside a libglfw.dylib. So in theory, you should be okay without installing glfw, so you should be good to go, just like on the Windows side. So I decided to make it near exactly the same in terms of requirements. All right, so before you run anything, there are a few things you need to do. You need to make sure you get the Xcode releases, and it's 12.4 for OS X Catalina, which is 10.15. So you need 12.4, and you need the normal Xcode and also the Xcode command line tools, right? You need those two things. Whether or not, depending on how you install it, you may get the command line tools automatically or not, but you definitely need the two of those. And I'm going to leave that up to you to figure out how to do that. All right, once you have that, all right, chances are you can do it with, well, I don't know if you can do Xcode with Brew or not. But anyway, so the other thing you need is CMake. And the best way to get CMake is probably using Homebrew. And you just say brew install CMake, right? So I'm going to let you Google that. So the two things you need, Xcode and CMake. Now, once you have those things, I have set up in the build directory. Normally there'd be setup win64 2019.bat for using Visual Studio 2019. But there is also now setup Xcode command. And that is an Xcode, that is a shell script. And you can left click on it and say open. And it may say, oh, complain, complain, complain. If it does complain, just make sure you left click open, or excuse me, right click open it, so that it'll, yes, you trust this. You trust me, right? Okay, good. All right, so it will run through this and you will see it complete, right? That is the CMake portion of things. It's going to create a directory and so on. So you want to have this G4G build directory, just like you would on the on Windows. And you can come in here, and instead of a g4gp1.sln, which you would have in Visual Studio, you have g4gp1.xcode for your project. And we can double click on that, and it will open up Xcode. And the one thing you want to do is click here and choose G4G1, right? Don't choose always copy, all these kind of things. Just choose G4G1. That's this main thing you're going to build, and press play, which will go through, and it will do, you'll see a bunch of checks here, and it's going to actually go through and compile. Build succeeded. Give it a second, and it will actually execute it. So it takes a second the first time around. Would like to access files in your downloads directory? That's fine. And that's just, I believe that is IMGUI kind of just updating its preferences and things like that. So good to go at that point. Now, so just like anything else, you have the same exact files, the same, everything is same. And if you look in here, I just closed it out. You can look in here, G4G1 source files, and you'll see here's your main, all right? And everything should be all set up, all the exact same code as it is on the on Visual Studio or Windows, except for this. Well, this one line is going to be there for both of them, but this is one required line. That's the one thing that seems to need to be changed. So there you can change stuff, and in here, this is your basics file. Say you wanted to change something, want to change the color, maybe make it a grayscale. Do something interesting like that. Say save that, so it looks slightly different now. Give it a second. Okay, look at that. Every other line has gray instead of white. So do something fancier than that to prove that you understand what's going on. see, it switches it first and pops that back. But you're good to go. All right. And that will put it, at this point, you know, wherever you downloaded it to. So you probably want to have moved it before you do all this building and all this stuff. Don't just build it in your downloads directory. I think now if I moved it, it might blow up things. So the best thing to do after you download it, put it somewhere you want to keep it. You know, your wherever you want to keep your files and keep them current, and so on. All right. Good luck.